I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. This is just a quick little first reaction video to the Rifftrax Live Samurai Cop, which was just simulcast throughout the country tonight. I actually got a request for this video from Cronus222, who asked if I would do just my first thoughts. Obviously, this is going to be a full-on review or anything. Don't have any footage or anything. It's not on VOD yet, but I thought I'd give my just initial thoughts and reaction to it, and to whether you should see it on Tuesday when they do the replay, which would be Tuesday the 18th, I believe. And the short answer is yes, you should see it. It was hilarious, absolutely wonderful. But I will say first warning for someone that was there, if you haven't seen it, don't take kids. This is very much an R-rated film, and they didn't cut anything, which is kind of weird for them, because if I'm remembering correctly, maybe I missed it, maybe I missed a warning or something that they gave, but usually they do PG-13 shows to try to keep it like that, to where you could take 10-year-olds and up or so, and if it's an R movie, they either would edit it, like, what was it, Starship Troopers. They edited it, they, cut away, they fixed it so you didn't see anything when you saw that live show. But then I think when they did The Room, I think it was, they didn't cut anything, but they gave a warning online beforehand, saying it was an R-rated movie, R-rated show, so don't bring the kids. But I didn't see anything like that for this, and we were in the theater, and down the road from us, my mom saw this, very young teenage boy, probably 13 or 14, and apparently he looked kind of scandalized because of how much language there was, and kind of moments that are supposed to be, sexy, but they're, just disgusting and horrific, and you're like, shut this off right now. So, it definitely has very adult elements, so don't bring the kids. If you normally would bring them to Rifftrax Live, definitely consider not in this case. But if you are an adult, or you don't care if your kids see that stuff, you need to go and see this on Tuesday, if you didn't already, because it was hilarious, and it was so fun to see it with the audience. Our theater probably had between 40 and 50 people in it, and I seemed to be the only person that was in there that had actually seen this before. I'd seen the studio version of the Riff, which is also hilarious, and I also highly recommend. It's on the site. I also believe it's on Amazon Prime, if you have that, and it's one of the most ridiculous movies. It is up there with The Room and Birdemic on terms of the movie itself is so ridiculous you could just laugh at it as is, let alone with the riffs, and there were a lot of times where the audience would just laugh at the movie, and no riffs needed. But I had seen it before, so I kind of knew what was coming, so it was hilarious to see these 40 people, plus hearing people all the way in Nashville through the cameras and such, hear everyone just laughing, or in a few cases clapping because it was so terrible, or groaning a couple times because the movie's just so terrible. And I don't want to give too many details about the movie itself, because I do feel like this is a movie that has to be seen to be believed. I'll just say that for a guy called Samurai Cop, he's the doofiest white guy with the worst long hair and wig that you've ever seen in your life. He looks like a complete moron. And it has Robert Zadar, who you might remember as the big-faced guy in Soul Taker and Future War for Mystery Science. And it's ridiculous, but it was so funny. The show was so good. They did a short beforehand, obviously. It was a McGraw-Hill educational short. It is in the line of a kid's having a problem, needs to be taught a lesson, so some weird object comes to life to teach him about it. So that was really fun. And yeah, it was a great show overall. If you go ahead of time for the little slideshows that they do, my favorite had to do with Avatar. So, the bad one, the Cameron movie. So look out for that if you're gonna be, you have to be there half an hour before the start time on your ticket, and they'll have these fun slides with movie facts that they make up. So that was really fun, and it's just, yeah, the movie itself, guys, it's so ridiculous. It has things that are just so awful, just facial expressions. Alone would get, there were, I don't know how many laughs. Gotta be over a dozen easy of facial expressions. Not even just this one guy who, all he has are weird facial expressions, but, everyone. Any close-up on Samurai Cop, it's move away, it's so bad, it's so bad. I think the best way to describe the actual character of the Samurai Cop is a few weeks ago, I was hanging out with my cousin, and we were watching a bunch of Rifftrax because I've gotten him into it recently, and we watched Guy from Harlem, you know, that cat's a bad dude, and we loved, I love that one personally. He thought it was hilarious, but he was like, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen, and then we watched Samurai Cop, and he was like, Faith, I was wrong, this is like the worst thing I've ever seen, and it was so funny because he's like, Guy from Harlem, that dude's so lame, and then we watched Samurai Cop, and he goes, the guy from Harlem could beat up the Samurai Cop, so that gives you an idea of how lame a hero the Samurai Cop is. If Guy from Harlem was cooler than you, I mean, I know he has his own theme song that sounds like it was made with like an old broken Pac-Man machine, but Samurai Cop, I mean, when Samurai's in your name, I mean, you'd think it'd be something cool, but it's not. It's awful. But, yeah, my, you know, basic thoughts on this. Had a great short, great movie. It was great to see it with an audience, so if you can make it to Tuesday's show, you should definitely do it, because it was super fun, and eventually, way down the line, when the VOD version is available, I will be obviously reviewing that as well, and you can see, like, all the favorite riffs and things like that, and I can give a much more detailed, spoilerific version of the movie, but here, I want to keep it as spoiler-free as possible, because if you haven't seen it, I highly suggest waiting. But if you're super curious and want to get a taste of it without seeing the riffs, Chris Stuckman has a hilariosity review of Samurai Cop. I think I actually saw that first, and then I saw the studio Rifftrax, because it came out later, I believe, than his review did. So I even had a vague idea then of what it was like. So if you want to get a taste, I would say look at his review. But other than that, I would highly recommend going in blind, no kids, and ready to just laugh hysterically, and just laugh and clap along with the audience, because it was so funny, so good. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. This was a nice little way to kill some time also for me before the Season 11 finally premieres, because if my research is correct, it premieres at midnight tonight on the Pacific Coast, but I'm in the Midwest. I'm Central Time. That's 2 in the morning, and I want to watch at least the first one tonight and do a quick, like, reaction to it. And, I mean, what time is it? It's 11:40 where I am right now, so I still got almost 2.5 hours to wait here. So this has been a nice little distraction. I'm sure getting this up. By the time it's up, it'll probably be a little less than 2 hours to go. And man, guys, I'm still nervous, but I'm hoping it turns out. I'm hoping it turns out. Like I'm erring on the side of positivity. I want to think positive. I want to be positive. I think rewatching the Mystery Science reunion show has helped a lot, because getting to see Jonah riffing in that a couple times, I was just like, he's got this, man. Like, he looked like he really has it. So as long as everyone else is on that same page, I think we're in good hands with these guys. So I'm going to edit this up, throw it up there real quick, give you guys a little something to watch before the premiere actually starts. Help keep you guys a little busy as well. And I guess I'll see you in a few hours.